This video is going to focus on a feature not many people talk about very often, troubleshooting a Mac. Now, a lot of times what I hear is it's a Mac. I thought Macs worked all the time without ever having an issue. I hate to say, it's a computer. Things happen. Programs freeze, there's crashes. Now, I will say, in my comparison, this is a personal opinion. I know you can quickly fall into a trap of getting into a Mac versus Windows or Linux discussion. I'm not here to do that. I'm just going off of my own experience. I have found Mac is much, much more stable with less issues. But when I do have them, knowing these tricks that I'm going to show in this video will help you out a lot. So this video is going to focus on how to troubleshoot some common issues that you might have on your macOS device. So let's jump right into those issues. The two most common issues that I see on MacBooks are either you run out of space. A lot of schools or a lot of states supply laptops to teachers and students that only have about 128 gigabyte hard drives. It's not bad size-wise, and probably for most people it's not a problem, but it can fill up quite quickly if you're just downloading a lot of stuff, and especially if you do a lot of photos and videos, it's going to fill up really, really fast. So I'm going to show you a few places that you can look to see if you're starting to run out of space, where that space is being used up. The other thing I'm going to show in this video, which I feel is the second most common issue you see, is a program freezes up. I'm going to cover a couple of other things in this video also, but these are the most two common issues that I see on a MacBook: running out of space and a program freezing. So I'm going to start with a program freezing. It does happen occasionally that a program will freeze or lock up on your computer. The first way you can force a program to quit that's locked up is by going down to your dock. And you hover over the program that's locked. So let's say Microsoft Word is locked up on me. With your mouse, you either want to right click, or on your keyboard you want to hold down the control button and click with your mouse. Or if you have a trackpad, take two fingers and click at the same time on the program that froze, and you'll see this little options menu that'll show up. If the program's not responding, it will tell you it's not responding. You'll actually see an open, and in parentheses next to it, it will say not responding. And one of the options will be to force quit. So instead of just quit, you'll actually see the words force quit. Click on that, and the program should force quit and close right out for you. If you've worked on a Windows device before, if you remember the old Control-Alt-Delete, and it would pop up and you'd open up your task manager, and then you could view all the programs that are open and you could force quit the program that way. This is the same idea. It's the Control-Alt-Delete on the Mac side. So that's the first option. The second option is you come all the way to the top left and you click on the Apple logo icon, and you're going to see this force quit. If you click on that, it's going to open a window here that's going to list all the programs that are open on your computer. If one of those programs has locked up, you're going to see in red parentheses next to it, not responding. Very rarely is a program locked up and not said that message, but doesn't matter. But that's a quick way to know that, yeah, this program's locked up on me. So let's say Airtable is the program not responding. All I do is I click on it and I click on the force quit. It's going to ask if I want to force quit, and I said, yep. Now, if I come down to my dock, you'll see Airtable is no longer open. That is the easiest way of quitting out of an application that's frozen on you. Once in a blue moon, when you're in the program and it's open and it freezes on you, it does not allow you to do anything. So anywhere you move your mouse, you're probably going to see the little spinning ball, or it's just not letting you click anywhere. If that happens, what I want you to do, so let me open a program here. Let me open my Airtable. It's the easiest program to show it with. So I'm going to make it a little smaller. So let's say Airtable has locked up on me completely, and you'll see in the top left-hand corner it says Airtable. And let's say I cannot click or do anything in the program, and I know it's frozen. But the problem is when this program froze, it's not letting me click on anything in this top left-hand corner to open up the force quit, and maybe even my dock isn't letting me do anything. In order to override that, all I have to do is click off the program somewhere. So you'll see on this right-hand side or the left-hand side, I've got my desktop. Once I click on that, you'll see that it switched over, and now it says Finder on the top left. From there, I can then click on the Apple logo icon, go to force quit, search for Airtable in my list or the program for you that's frozen up, and click force quit, and it's gone. So as I said, every now and then a program just won't let you do anything, and that's the way to do it. The third option, I kind of always think of this as the nuclear option. I've probably had to do this. It's very rare that I ever have to do this, but let's say none of those tricks work. Hold down the power button on your laptop or your desktop until the computer fully shuts off, then restart it. So those are the three options to force quit. You can go down to your dock, right click, two-finger click on it, choose force quit. You can go up to the Apple logo icon, click on force quit, select your program, have it force quit, or hold down your power button until the laptop or the desktop shuts down, and that will cause the program to quit. It's not something that happens very often on my Mac device, but you know what? As I always say, it's still a computer. Things happen. Programs freeze up and lock up. It happens. Part of being a computer user. So those are the three ways that you can quit out of a program that just isn't wanting to do anything. The next step, let's say your computer's run out of space and it keeps throwing you messages. If your computer gets way down in space or basically no space available, you will not be able to print. You won't be able to pretty much do anything. So you need to have some hard drive space. The first thing you can do to check is if you click on your Finder, just open up a folder. And I like to say click on your Downloads folder. If you don't see anything across the bottom here, like you'll see now I've just got the resize line. If I go up to Finder and click on View, you'll see the Show Status Bar option. If I click on that, you're going to see now it says 15 items and 1.63 TB available, which means terabytes. That shows you how much space you have on your computer. If you see it ends in MB, so if I saw 1.63 MB available, megabytes, that is not good. You probably really don't want to see anything below 1 gig. So you don't want to see 900 meg or 800 or 200 or 1 meg. If you start seeing a megabytes, that means you are severely low on space and you're probably going to have some issues very soon if you don't already. But if you see TB or if you see a couple of gigabytes available, which is marked as a GB, you've got plenty of space, no problems at all. But let's pretend this is 1.63 megabytes that's only available, which means my computer is pretty much out of space. Where do I go and find out what's using up all my space? First place to check is you click on the Apple logo icon in the top left, and you're going to click on About This Mac. You're going to see some information about your MacBook, which is really handy, especially if you're starting to troubleshoot things and you need to get in touch with Apple or somebody's helping you out. They might ask you, what are the specs of your computer? What version of macOS are you running? If you come in here, it'll tell you, I'm running macOS Big Sur. I'm on version 11.1. Sometimes you might see it says like 10.5.2. It'll tell you what version it is, what year it was made, your processor, how much memory, your startup disk, what you have for a graphics processor, and the serial number. But to view how much storage you're using and what's using it, you'll see this little storage tab across the top. If you click on that, it's going to take a few minutes to go through and search everything. So you want to let it do its thing. The bigger your hard drive and the more stuff you have, the longer it will take to calculate. So now that it's calculated, if I hover over each of the colors, it will tell me what that thing is. So it's telling me I have 211 gigabytes of documents. I have 87.85 gigabytes of photos. I have a lot of photos and videos. I have 32 gigabytes of apps. And then you've got this, let's see if I can get it to show, trash and others. I've got 13 gig, and then I've got system. That's your operating system and other things that have to be installed. You've got 15 gig. The ones I want you to focus on is either your documents or your photos, because most likely one of those two things is where you're getting caught up. But if you click on this manage icon, it'll really break things down in an easy to use place that you can see. So you can see how much you might have, maybe a lot of music being used. Maybe your text messages is using a lot of space, but this will help you find what's using your space. If it's your photos, which for 90% of people I work with on clearing out space, it's coming from your photos. And many times it's just due to some videos that are in your photos. But as a teacher, if you're recording a lot of lessons and things like that, it probably is the video files on your computer. I would just move those to Google Drive or OneDrive, depending on what service, or get a USB drive and move them over to that so it's not taking up as much room on your computer. That's the quick way to get files off of there. But if you open up your photos, so let's say your photos is where you're getting kind of nailed on things. So I'm going to open up my Apple Photos. And you're going to have some options in here. So if you go up and click on Photos on the top left and you go to Preferences, you're going to see this iCloud option. If you tap on that, you're going to have a few options here. And actually, I need to change this because mine isn't proper. So right now, it's using my iCloud because I have an iPad, I have an iPhone, and I have some MacBooks. So I use iCloud. So if I take a photo on one device, it uploads it to the iCloud so I can access it in my Photos app on all my devices. So such a great feature. Now I have two settings underneath that. Right now I can have it download the originals to this Mac, which is what's selected. That means any photo I take, it's downloading it to the computer and storing it on the computer, which if you have a lot of photos and videos, this is going to use up a lot of space really quickly. The next one is Optimize Mac Storage. So what it's going to do is it's going to save the full version online. It's going to save a little thumbnail on my MacBook. If I open up that full version of the video or the file, it's going to quickly download it as fast as it can, and then it's going to allow me to view it. If you're on wireless connection all the time or have an internet connection all the time with your device, I would select Optimize Mac Storage. Or if you're getting low on space, Optimize Mac Storage. And what it's going to do is it might take a couple of days depending on how many photos you have. What it will do is it'll upload everything and then it'll figure out what's online and what's offline, and it'll save small mini versions on your laptop. So if you go on your phone, if you've ever noticed in Apple Photos on your phone, when you open up the photo, it starts really blurry and then after a couple seconds, maybe not even that long, it becomes clear. That's because it's not storing the photo on your phone, it's storing it online. And when you tap to view that photo, it downloads a copy to your phone so you can view the full version. That does the same thing on your Mac. I guarantee for most people with space issues, if you do Optimize Mac Storage, it's going to quickly increase your space on your computer. If you're still having issues, you might need to go through and see if there's any videos in your photos that are taking up some space, maybe too much space, because a 10-minute video or a few 5 to 8-minute videos will take up a lot of space really quickly, especially if you're shooting on newer phones. If the space is being used by files or documents, you're just going to have to find where those documents are. So the places I would look is if you have cloud storage, see if they're in there. And if they are, a lot of your cloud storage like Google File Stream, which syncs to your Google Drive folder, or OneDrive or Dropbox, has an option where it will save the file online, and when you need it, it quickly downloads it. Same idea that I was just explaining with your photos. I would turn that on. But the places to look on your computer is either in your Downloads folder, your desktop if you happen to save a lot of files to your desktop, or your Documents folder. Those are the three places I would check if you have any big files. And what you can do is when you go into that area, you'll see there's a size column. If I click on size, it's going to put the biggest file at the top or at the bottom, depending on which way you order it. So it'll help you quickly find files that are really, really, really big. Hopefully one of these tricks will help you find where that space is being used on your computer and free up some of that space. For example, I have a 2 terabyte hard drive on this MacBook Pro, so for me, I'm not as picky about what's on my computer. For my video tutorials and stuff like what you're watching right now, I save them to my laptop, and then when they're done, they actually get moved over to my cloud storage and they get moved over to my backup hard drive. So I have them in 2 different spots just in case. But I don't leave them because over time, those files are multiple gigabytes. And when you're getting up to 50 to 100 videos, that space adds up pretty quickly. So if you're somebody who likes to do a lot of video editing, I would strongly suggest getting a really nice USB external hard drive to save those things to, or spend some money on getting some cloud storage, or if you really want to be overly careful like I am, do both so you can have yourself covered on both ends. So the next thing, if the computer's just acting weird, take a look and see if you've restarted your computer lately. When your computer's been on for a long time, things build up in the memory that can just kind of clog up your system and just bog it down. So 9 times out of 10, if you've ever heard that saying, have you turned it on and off again? It is so true. 9 times out of 10, that will fix your issue. So if you're not having a space issue or a program hasn't frozen up on you and you're just having some quirky issues, things are just a little slower at opening, just not quite working right, just restart your computer. A lot of times that'll just clean out all the crud and the junk that's in the system and allow it to work really nice and clean. I usually try to restart my computer automatically about once a week. And that seems to make it work pretty well. But you know what? Once in a blue moon, sometimes you have to restart it a little sooner than that. My next video is going to be kind of a part 2 to this series, and that's going to be more of the nuclear option. If things really aren't going right, what can I do at kind of that next level of fixing things? It's still very easy stuff that you can do yourself, but I will walk you through how to do these different steps, because a couple of them is hitting some keyboard commands. When you restart your computer, you're pushing down a sequence of keys and things like that. Sometimes you have to go into a system restore setting and do things like that. And I'm going to use the next video to show you kind of that more advanced step up, what I call the nuclear option for doing some repair on your computer if you need to. I really hope you never have to go through any of these steps that I walk through, but again, it's a computer. Things happen. So I hope you find some of these tips helpful if you run into an issue and being able to fix it. I will tell you 9 times out of 10, one of these items I discuss in this video will help you get out of that problem. If not, I'm doing a follow-up video to this that I'm calling the nuclear option, where if you really get yourself in trouble and there's a real major issue on your computer, you can use one of these tricks. As always, if you have any further follow-up questions or you maybe run into an issue I didn't show in this video, hit me up below. I will respond to those comments. And also while you're down there, please hit that like button. And while you're down there hitting that like button, go ahead and subscribe to my channel so you can stay up to date with all my latest video tutorials. Until next time, this is Adam on Tech, signing off.